De Bruyne's corner. Haaland! Goal! Here's Salah. It's Mo Salah. It's Mo Salah! Absolutely sensational!
And we're live. Welcome back to another deadline stream. How's everyone doing? It's Friday. Good to see you all. I was on the FPL show this morning, but I got called out for having Van Dijk and O'Reilly in my team. So I had to hold my hands up and be like, look, I know it's really jammy. What do you want me to say? How's everyone doing? Welcome to the deadline stream. We are back. And it's a Friday deadline as well. We love a Friday deadline. Absolute cinema. Someone's already made a meme about it. What do you want me to do? What can I do about Van Dijk and O'Reilly hauling in back-to-back weeks? It can't go on like this. But the last 2 weeks have been unbelievable. Probably two of the best back-to-back weeks in recent memory in FPL. So, into the top 10k now as it stands. I don't know if we can push any higher, but I've done something that might... I don't know. I've swapped captaincy around. Let me turn the volume down a bit. I've put it on Haaland. I know I'm so lucky. It's just a fluke. To be fair, right, Van Dijk and O'Reilly have been really bad for me for a long time, up until literally the last 2 weeks. Anyway, I've put the armband on Haaland. I've changed it. It was on Bruno. I've got it on Haaland. This could be a massive mistake, but honestly, there's so many pros and cons to both that I'm at the point where I'm overthinking it. I was chatting on Discord about it just now. Let me find the messages. Just to give you some... I guess I'm going to be asked about this throughout the whole stream, but I think some of you might also be in the same boat with captaincy. So Haaland's got a higher goal involvement based on the bookies' odds. He's got 65% chance of being involved in a goal. Bruno, 57.4%. Obviously, when you go Haaland captain, it's like the rank security, because I think he must be like 170% EO, something like that. Interestingly, 11 of 5, you guys know him. He's got a model. He's like one of the top all-time managers. He's got a ridiculous rank history, and his model massively favours Haaland. But if you look at other models like FPL Review, that massively favours Bruno. Bruno's got the upside, better underlying data in the last 6. He's not getting defcons anymore. In the last, under Carrick, the only game he got it was playing against Man City. So there's that as well. Then Palace had to play on Thursday night. I don't know. Some of you obviously don't look at models at all, but I factor them into my thinking. I very, very rarely go with whatever they suggest. And this is definitely one of those situations. Like going against Bruno captain is blasphemy according to the models. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm really happy with the rest of my team. FPL Bateman, why don't you punt on captaincy when you're looking to get higher rank-wise when it's so good? I'm really happy with the rest of my team, and I just feel like there's not a huge difference in it. So I could have a stress-free game week. Have any of you guys ever done that, where you're like, I'm just going to go with this player because I can just enjoy the game week and have a stress-free game week? If I go Bruno captain and Haaland Halls tomorrow, Sunday's going to be a difficult one. I'll have to be properly praying that Bruno does something. Anyway, they've taken the tis thanks to the 43 months. He says, and we're live. Bench Munoz or Dewsbury Hall? Probably bench Munoz, honestly. Yeah, bench Munoz, play Dewsbury Hall. Vidat says, do I start Ryan or Wilson? Oh, can you not start both? I think you have to play Ryan home to Sunderland when they're missing Mukiele. Maybe it won't matter too much, Mukiele. I think I prefer Ryan, honestly. Jan says, who to sell? Chalobah, Enzo or Wirtz? 1 free transfer. I think I'd... God. Wirtz is a nightmare as well. Like, has anyone got Wirtz? That's so unlucky and so annoying. I was thinking about buying him this week until the injury. I think Slot said something like, I don't know when he's going to be back either. So, just based on the potential for him to miss this game and midweek, I would say Wirtz out, and then I guess you go Dango or Wilson. I think Dango first, and then you do Enzo, potentially Enzo to Wilson in Gameweek 29. What transfers are you guys making this week? Is anyone else selling Enzo? Anand says sell Enzo. I think you sell the injured player first. Always prioritise the biggest issues in your team. If you sell Enzo now and someone else gets injured, then you've got 2 injured players, if that makes sense. Whereas Wirtz could miss this game and he could miss midweek. So for me, I think Wirtz has got to be a sell now, which is really annoying and really unlucky for those of you that have him. Do an Enzo to Dango. So I'm in a similar boat to Jan, where I've got 2 players I want, 2 players I could sell. Well, he's actually got 3, including Chalobah, but in terms of midfielders. And I think it makes sense to go Enzo to Dango first for the Burnley game. And then I can do Rice to Wilson in Gameweek 29 when he's got West Ham home. Nair11 says, do I start Garner or Richards? I would start Garner there. Probably just gets you the DEFCON, but I'd be really surprised if Palace keep a clean sheet away at Old Trafford. So I would say Garner. Yeah, Zobosai is a good pick. He might even play as a 10 again. Given the Wirtz injury, Gomez is obviously available. Frimpong's back in training. We'll see. Maybe not just yet, but soon. But yeah, he's fine as well. Honestly, there's like 5 or 6 really good options to replace Enzo and Sarr. So you got like Dango, Sharda, Tavernier, Ryan, Wilson, Zoboslai. All 6 of those are great options. I think my least favourite is probably Tavernier. Just because I'm not sure if he's going to get good minutes both this week and midweek. If he does, he's great. Sohan says, how else could bench 1 out of Munoz, Enzo and Timber? Munoz, Timber to Van Dijk worth a hit if I'm taking 1 before Gameweek 31 anyway. Well, if you're having to take a hit regardless, then yeah, you can make a case of bringing the hit forward, if that's what you're saying. I think I prefer Munoz out. It's really close. It does depend on Timber minutes as well. But I think I'd rather sell Munoz to Van Dijk. And yeah, and bench Enzo. Hope that helps. Are you doing any transfers? Yeah, I'm going to do Enzo to Dango during the stream. Do you ever hedge your bets? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Rightly or wrongly, like FPL is a game, I think, of picking your moments. Sometimes you just hedge your bets. Sometimes you just go all in. I'm trying to remember if it was last season or the one before, but Palace had a double game week. Maybe it was the year before. And I went triple attack. I went Elise, Eze, Mateta. And it was an absolute... Does anyone remember this? Mateta got like 29 points. And then Eze and Elise ended up getting double digits as well. And so many people at the time said, Triple attack is crazy. Why would you do that? Just get Munoz. But they had really good fixtures from attacking perspective. Munoz wasn't quite as lethal as he is now as well. I think it might have been a couple of years ago. But anyway, yeah, that week comes to mind in terms of like when hedging your bets and not hedging your bets. So, like some people are going to go Dango, Sharda, and Thiago. I actually don't mind that if it's just for the next 4. Don't know if any of you guys doing that. I honestly don't mind it. This could age horribly, what I'm saying right now, but I genuinely think there's a chance that triple Brentford attack could absolutely cook the next 4 game weeks. But I'm comfortable enough with double, even that's like a little bit aggressive. Anyway, keep going with the questions. Stevie Boy says Rice to Mbumo / Wilson or Timber to Van Dijk. I think I'd rather do Timber out first. I don't mind Chelsea home for Rice. 12 goal involvements, DEFCON in like 50% of games. I would do Timber out first. And then Wilson in 29. Clean sheet odds, please. Clean sheet odds are there. I think double's the way to go, says Skewer. Yeah, I'm okay with double attack. Against Burnley this week as well. Worst defence for XGC, most big chances conceded. Worst for XGC in home games as well, not just overall. Quasar says he's a Verts owner. He's got Dango already for Enzo. I need a better defender for Chalobah. I was thinking of getting Hill for Chalobah, but now I'm confused. Have you got Van Dijk already? Van Dijk's good. Otherwise, maybe Anderson? Anderson or Hill, one of those two. Who's got better projected clean sheets? Next 4, I guess. I don't know if you're wildcard in 32. Oh, Fulham a third. Yeah, oh, it's close. 1.31. Oh, you can't really go wrong. Maybe Hill first. Yeah, I think Hill, and then maybe if you've got scope for Anderson in 31, do that then. Hill first, Sunderland home. Can't really go wrong, honestly, but yeah, either of those two are great Chalobah replacements. I know a lot of you have got Chalobah. Who are you selling for, or have you sold for already? El Sonia Lump, good evening, Oscar. Wishing you a good gaming. Love you. What to do with Palmer this week? I think Palmer's sellable. Really depends on your setup. Like you could go down to a Dango or a Wilson. Obviously, you don't have like a Bruno or a Mbumo there. Good as well. Some people are going like Palmer down and then one of the forward spots up to like a Thiago Rekatike. I think that's good. Where's Planet Palace on the clean sheet percentages? Oh, they're second bottom, 12%. So yeah, again, that goes back to what I was saying. Honestly, I think I'd rather do Timber to Van Dijk. Sorry, I'd rather do Munoz to Van Dijk than Timber. Arsenal are joint top, actually. A little bit surprising, home to Chelsea, but joint top on the bookies odds. Nice cup of tea. I need this. I was up so early today for the FPL show. And I was also up really late last night getting Tom's video done in time. So, cheers. What's everyone having? I've only got a cup of tea, but I'm going to go out after the stream, have dinner with Miss Focal, have a glass of wine, and I'll be back for Wolvesby Villa. Oh, that's refreshing. That is a good tea. I put 2 tea bags in that. You're on the Ribena. British is on the beer. That's very British of British to say beer. A decaf coffee, a whiskey to ease the pain. Right, let's keep going. Where did I get to here? Tabido says, do I start Rice or Anderson? I would start Rice out of those. Both are great, but just about Rice for me. Randy Cressy, thank you for the 1 month, says, hey Oscar, do I start Garner or Van der Ven? I would start Garner. I don't really trust Spurs' defence, let alone an away fixture. John McCulloch says, start Munoz, Chalobah or Alderete. You're on Bruno captain. Munoz, Chalobah, Alderete. I think it'd have to be Alderete. I just can't imagine Palace keeping a clean sheet, so I think you'd need a goal involvement, which isn't out of the question for him, but I think Alderete's got a fair shot at DEFCON. It's not ideal for any of the three, but I think I'd go Alderete, Munoz, Chalobah in that order. Heavy Sound, thank you for becoming an FPL Focal member. Appreciate you. Thanks for the support. Welcome. Quasar also said he's got Anderson, Van Dijk, Chalobah, Alderete, Gabriel. So, what was it he said above? So you got Dango for Enzo already. Need a better defender for Chalobah. Okay, so right. So I would say in that case Hill would be who I'd go. But do you need to make that move this week? Can't you play a back three? I don't know if it's worth a transfer. Anderson's fine. Van Dijk's fine. Gabriel's fine. Alderete is okay. But can you play a back three? I don't think you need to sell Chalobah, do you? I don't think you need to. I'd rather sell Verts. That makes way more sense to me. Chase the upside, Quasar. Annihilism says, should I move on for Dango in place of Enzo this week? Or wait, next game week for 2 transfers to do Bowen to Jimenez, Enzo to Verts and sort of slash doubles like. Nah, I prefer the first one, Annihilism. I would go for that. I would get Dango now. I'm not sure on Jimenez. I might buy him in 31. I need to see how his minutes are, because last week was like barely 60. Which might be enough home to Burnley, but yeah, I wouldn't. Right now, I probably wouldn't have Verts in your transfer plans either. Don't forget, Game Week 29 is on Tuesday, so it's a nice quick turnaround, which is great from an FPL perspective, because we've got a game tonight, loads of games tomorrow, Sunday. Monday's just the day off, but I'll have 2 videos out that day. And then Tuesday's Game Week 29, and then I think it's Wednesday, Thursday. So, but yeah, from an injury perspective, like with Verts, it's not great, because you could miss that as well. Chivers says, play back 5, Gabriel, Van Dijk, Timber, Dallo, Hill, or bench Enzo, or sell Enzo and Dango and bench one of those. I think I'd get rid of Enzo. I'd get Enzo and bench Dallo, I think. I mean, Dango's got to have a lot more upside against Burnley than Dallo does home to Palace. And sorry in advance if Dallo keeps a clean sheet and gets an attack in return, but Dango is more upside for sure. And Enzo is a sell. It's not bad keeping him though. It's playing the back 5. How we doing? Hashtag, good to see you, mate. Salah for the next 4. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I was looking at the captaincy widget now, and it's actually got Salah top, or joint top with Bruno. Any mad lads got Salah in their FPL team? I don't think I'll have him, but I don't dislike it. Especially if like you're selling Palmer and you've got the money, something like that. But in isolation, yeah, I wouldn't be like selling Haaland for him or something. Yeah, the captain poll is up in case you missed it, so get your votes in on that. I stuck it up before the stream started this week, so in case you missed it, do get your votes in. It looks like Haaland's ahead, as it stands. Kopaka Fana says, Enzo to Dango, Mukiele to Van Dijk from -4 or play Munoz. From -4, probably not. I don't think so. Basically, you'd need Munoz to blank and concede. You'd need Van Dijk to keep a clean sheet to break even. Liverpool 36% on the clean sheet odds. So, yeah, I mean, what are the realistic chances? And they're about 20-ish% above Palace. I don't think I'd bet 4 points on those odds, would you? That's one way of looking at it when it comes to defender hits. Midfielder and attacker hits are a bit more complicated, but I like to look at it that way when it comes to taking a hit for a defender. At least as a starting point in the clean sheet odds. Obviously, Van Dijk's got goal for it and stuff. He could do it again this week, but I wouldn't take that hit. I would just do the first move. Mahalo says, who to bench, Wilson or Bowen? I would bench Bowen against Liverpool, definitely. iDoc says, I went wild this week to push for top 100k. 4 free transfers used. He's brought in Van Dijk, Hill, Sharda and Wilson. Bench boost active, send prayers. Well, good luck. Those are good moves, to be fair. Especially Sharda, super differential. I expect him to start against Burnley. I like it. Good luck. I like the moves. Where are you now, iDoc, in terms of gunning for top 100k? Because, you know, if you're like 120k, like, you're not far out. How is everyone doing rank-wise? Where are we at right now? Maybe I can get a screenshot from, you know, Live FPL does like a really nice table of the rank thresholds and everything. What rank is everyone heading into this game week? Oh, that's weird. They've added a scroll bar, so it doesn't really work nicely anymore. That's a shame. You know that table on Live FPL that shows you the rank thresholds, but now it just shows like 8 rows and you have to scroll, so I can't take a screenshot of it. Never mind. Anyway, 98k, 16k, 1.5 mil, 31k. FPL Joe, 28k to 91k last 6, 340k. Exactly 2,000. Like, that's the dream, to have a perfect rank like that. A clean, round number. If you finish 10,000, is that top 10k? I'm sure we've discussed this before, but I've forgotten what the answer was. Let's do a poll. It is, isn't it? No. If it's top 10k, doesn't that mean it needs to be inside it? Top 9,999th? Not sure. Vote on the poll. Mohammed says, Oscar, do I buy Dango and Wilson or Dango Zoboslai? I prefer Dango Wilson. Yeah, those are the two I'm targeting. Zoboslai is nice, to be fair. Great fixture this week, but I do prefer Wilson and Dango for the next 4. Akshat says Timber to Van Dijk or Enzo to Wilson are both -4. No, I don't need to take a hit to sell Timber. Just do the Enzo to Wilson. That's fine. Just Joe says, I've got Verts, Enzo, João Pedro, 2 free transfers. What are your thoughts? Well, it depends who you don't own. Like, so if you don't own Thiago, I would do João Pedro to Thiago. I would do Verts to Dango. Verts to Dango, João Pedro to Thiago. If already got Thiago, then Verts and Enzo to Dango and Wilson. Okay, it's conclusively yes. 10,000 is top 10,000. Good. That's that ticked off. 120k for me, Oscar. You got Bruno captain. Honestly, I'm going to be streaming again on Tuesday, so you're not going to have to wait long for me to either be absolutely regretting Haaland captain or glad that I went conservative. What would you guys do, honestly? If you're top 10k, would you, and you're like, so I'm happy with the rest of my team. Am I playing like a wet wipe to captain Haaland and just make the points up with the rest of the team? Or like, should I just be sticking the captaincy on Bruno and see if I can be top 5k by this week? I could either be 5k after this game week, or I could be 20k if Bruno blanks and Haaland hauls. What would you do? Ultimately, FPL is a giant chess game against millions of managers, and you've got to make your moves in a calculated way. And I don't know. I'm happy with my team. After I sell Enzo for Dango, I think, like, how many people out there have got O'Reilly and Virgil? I don't think many have had that combination. So just stuff like that, and then the rest of the team, I think it's going to look great after Enzo to Dango. But you know what? Every time I say the team looks great, it doesn't do very well. So, you know what? This week, I think the team sucks. Anyway, Quasar says, so -4 for Hill or start Kroopy. No, I wouldn't take a hit. So I wouldn't take a hit for a defender, no. I'd rather just play Kroopy and hope he starts. Yeah, I don't like hits for defenders this week because the clean sheet odds just aren't good enough. You've got that combo. Mate, I think there's only a few dozen of us that have got the O'Reilly Van Dijk combo. I thought your app says Bruno. It does, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's only 1 star in it, but it's got Salah and Bruno on 5 stars, and it's got Haaland on 4. I don't, yeah, no, I'm not changing my mind during the stream. Nothing good ever comes of that. Except when it does. I'm leaving on Haaland. But I'm probably going to be thinking about it in the back of my head throughout the stream. But Tom's going Bruno as well. Like, if the GOAT is going Bruno, should I really be going against that? You've seen his team selection video probably from this morning. The #1 all-time manager is going Bruno. Why am I not doing it? Yeah, I'm going to kick myself if it doesn't go well, but it is what it is. Is FPL harder this year than the last 5 years? Every year it's the hardest year ever. Every year it gets harder. There's more managers and more engaged managers. You know, a year ago I probably had like half the subscribers I got now. Maybe not quite as many as that. The year before that, half as many. More and more people are more engaged with the game, aware of content, aware of, I don't know, tools that can help you. So yeah, I think FPL is getting harder and harder every year. What do you guys think? FPL's become easier, more chips, more free transfers, AFCON. Yeah, but you're forgetting the fact that everyone gets that. So I don't know if that's necessarily true. If it was just you that got AFCON transfers and more chips, then yeah, easier. But everyone gets that. And there's going to be plenty of people that make them count better than you. So it's, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is getting easier. Is top 100k the new top 10k? Right, the cliche is 50k is the top 10, new top 10k. But maybe we're not far off people saying 100k is the new top 10k. AI getting better as well. I reckon it's getting harder. This is Dave says, hello Mr. Focal. Enzo to Wilson, Timber / Munoz to Van Dijk, or both for a -4. I can bench Enzo, but it means I have to play Gabriel, Timber, Munoz, Anderson in defence. That seems fine. I wouldn't do both for a hit personally. I think I'd sell Enzo. Leave it at that. Don't take the hit. I wouldn't anyway. How many hits have you guys taken this season? I don't know how, but I'm still yet to take a hit. I'm still hitless heading into Gameweek 28. I am 3. Thanks for the 15 months. Says, hi, Wilson or Rice? Bearing in mind I've used the wild card. Wilson's better than Rice for sure for the next 4. Especially if you've used the wild card, like Rice blanks in 31. But I don't think it's a pressing move this week. I don't mind keeping Rice for one more game at least. So you don't have to do it now. You could do it in 29. West Ham home for Fulham then. Kelso says start Bowen or start Anderson. I would start Anderson. I know he's a boring pick, but I would start Anderson. You know, he surely gets DEFCON against Liverpool. Gogar says Gabriel to Van Dijk and Zubimeni to Dango -4. Is it a good idea? Nah, I definitely wouldn't sell Gabriel. I would not sell Gabriel at all. I don't even know if I'll sell him in 31. I'll probably just bench him because of the price increases. Keep Gabriel. Best defender in the game, period. If you can't, I'd find another way to fund that. I think Zubamendi out is good, but I definitely wouldn't sell Gabriel. I'm well behind on Super Chat, so I don't recommend sending one because it's going to take me a while to get through. Abdullah says, cheers, Focal. He's top 3k. Planning to use free transfers. Timber, Enzo, Gw to Van Dijk, Wilson, Eka, TK. Yeah, I like that. You must have a lot of money in the bank. Defences, Gabriel, Aurelian for Bruggen. Is it risky? No, I don't think that's risky. Good moves. I mean, I don't know how, he must have so much money in the bank to afford that, but definitely good moves. All 3 of them. Brilliant. Salah says who to start, Tavernier or Elliot Anderson. If I knew Tavernier started this game, I would say Tavernier, but does he definitely start? I feel like you've got to take the chance. I think you start Tavernier, home to Sunderland. Just take the chance. Too many chips, says Badge. Just a -4 taken. Pace says who to play. I'm planning on benching the majority of my Arsenal and Chelsea assets. Who would you play out of Raya, Gabriel, Rice, Chalobah, Enzo, Pedro? I would start the 3 Arsenal, bench the 3 Chelsea. Simple as that. Home game for Arsenal. They're a better team. Brandon says I need to bench one of Wilson, Rogers, Semenyo and Dango. Oh, that's awful, that one. They're all great. I think it'd have to be Rogers on form. Away against Wolves. Bench Rogers. But it's still a good fixture. But if it has to be one, literally it'd have to be Rogers. Akshat says sell Timber or Guay for Van Dijk. Yeah, I think probably Timber out of those two. I think I'd keep Guay and sell him 31. Timber to Van Dijk I like. Sake THM says, or Zakov says, hi, Wilson and Palmer / Wilson and Zobo / Anderson and Ekatike. Hang on, what? Wilson and Palmer. Oh, I see. Wilson and Palmer, Wilson, Zobo / Anderson, Ekatike. What about Wilson and Dango? I like Dango more than Zoboslai, or have you got him already? Wilson and Dango, I would say, is my favourite. Unless you don't own Bruno, then Wilson and Bruno. 3 points ahead of Focal, the race is on. Yeah, if I had to pick one of those three, I would say Wilson and Zobo. But I prefer Dango. Bellman says, hi Oscar in chat, should I sell Verts, 1 free transfer, or just play Anderson / Anderson? Good luck this game. PS, all the transfers and Nico Riley and Van Dijk will blank. It's inevitable. It's the most transferred in Curse. Are they being heavily bought? Van Dijk, I get. I guess Riley makes sense after last game, even though the blanks come in. So sell Verts or play them, and you've only got 1 free transfer. I would roll. I think they're both fine this week. I would roll, and I think I'd play Fulham's Anderson there. Super close that, but they're both great. So I feel like just roll to 2 and then decide what to do with Verts. Mohammed says, hello Oscar, do I buy Dango with Zoboslai or Wilson? So my answer to Dango versus Wilson is this. If you can only buy one for the next 4 game weeks, Wilson's just edges it. But if you've got an opportunity to buy one now and a second later, Dango now, Wilson later, whether that's Wilson in 29 or 31, I think that's fine if you can get both. And that's what my plan is. I'm probably doing Enzo to Dango now. Well, I'm definitely doing that now. And then I'm probably going to do Rice to Wilson in 29 or 31. I just don't want to get to 31 without Wilson, personally, for Burnley home. Such a nice fixture. Tube Dub says, I've got Sanchez and Dubravka, Gabriel, Timber, Anderson, Munoz, 2 free transfers, 1.3 mil, and you're lost. Help, please. So, okay. So, I feel like you play... Do you play Dubravka? Sanchez and Dubravka owners, who are you starting? Burnley 16%, Chelsea 14%. I'd play Dubravka, first of all. You got 1.3 mil, so Munoz to Van Dijk looks good. Yeah, that's all I would do if I were you. Munoz to Van Dijk and play a 4-4-2. Bench Alderete, bench Dewsbury Hall, bench your Gw or whoever that 4.2 forward is. That's it. Suli Breezy, thanks for the 3 months, says Rice to Rogers, Sarr to Dango, Rice to Zoboslai, Ahmad to Dango. Is Ahmad going to start? Maybe he will this time. I'll probably do Ahmad to Dango first, just because of the benching, whereas the others are at least nailed. Ahmad to Dango. Jeffrey says, hi Oscar, is it worth taking a -4 to get Rice out for Dango / Shardo, or wait for an update to upgrade Rice to Verts in 29? Nah, not a -4. I wouldn't take a -4. You know, I mean, Verts could be out at 29 as well, so I think you have to keep that in mind. Nah, keep hold of Rice. Chris says, happy Friday, start Sarr or Tarkowski? I would start Sarr against Man United. Personally. I can't imagine Everton keeping a clean sheet at Newcastle, but they seem to be better in away games, so who knows. But I would say Sarr. Sully Breezy, message retracted. Didn't see what it said. FPL 1, 1661, prioritise 2, Chalobah to Van Dijk, Pedro Thiago, Rice Ryan. I would prioritise Chalobah to Van Dijk and Pedro to Thiago, definitely. Those are the two. The others don't need a hit. Gogar says, Mane, Zubamendi, Chalobah, Enzo, Anderson, bench 2. I'd bench Chalobah. And... I think I'd bench Zubamendi and Chalobah there. Yeah, bench Zubamendi, bench Chalobah. Suli Boozy says Rice to Rogers and Sarr to Dango, or Rice to Zoboslai and Amma to Dango. Yeah, Amma to Dango. Didn't you just send that? Sorry, I'm still working through chats if I'm not answering messages. Going as quick as I can, but Amma to Dango because he's the one that's not nailed there. The WDR says, cheers Oscar, how do you reckon Arsenal-Chelsea goes? Well, we've done well against them in recent years, so in theory it should be an Arsenal win. Chelsea might concede, which I hate to say, in double defence, but I'll go 2-1 Arsenal. What do you guys think? Arsenal-Chelsea. Do Arsenal win? Akshat says, do live streams earn more money or normal videos? I think about the same. Don't really know. Don't really look at it, but I think about the same. What makes you ask anyway? Right, good. Keep the questions coming. What was I going to say? There was something I had ready to show you. Oh yeah, there's a new, still a work in progress, but we've got a new Team of the Week widget coming on the website. This is where it's currently at. And it basically will show you the best team for the week based on the projected points. Obviously, some of the players you might be like, I totally disagree, but these are based on FPL Review's massive data model, the premium one. So that's coming, and that'll be interesting. Oh, you see all these kits I've done here? So that's all done as well. But that's, sorry, it's not done. That's where it's up to. So that's a work in progress, and it'll be kind of like a scout selection. So that'll be an extra thing to just talk about during videos and streams. Carliga said, thanks for the 36 months, by the way. That's 3 years. He says -4 for Enzo / João Pedro, Thiago, Dango, Zoboslai, Sesko, Verts. For a -4. I'd be really tempted to do João Pedro to Thiago for a -4, but the way João Pedro is playing, probably not. I don't think I'd do it. If I was going to do anything, that would be what I would do. Oh, they have got Burnley. I wouldn't want to go into that with no attackers. I think, honestly, I'd be tempted to do João Pedro to Thiago -4. I think I'd do that. Just about. Just because it's like such a great fixture. And I'm expecting a response after that loss to Brighton. I'm expecting Sharda to start. I think Brentford win this one by a couple of goals. Amati says, hi mate, I hope you're well. What are your changes? I'm planning to do Enzo to Dango. And then I'll roll the second transfer. Ali Pastry in the chat says, chicken nuggets. Thanks for that. Do you think Krupi starts? I'm guessing he doesn't. Let me check if we've got him in the predicted lineups. We don't. Yeah, it could be Tavernier. It's really hard to say. But in the predicted lineups we've got here, we don't have him starting on the Focal app. If anyone's not got the Focal app, fpl.page, you can use it in your browser, or in the App Store, search FPL Focal, and you can install it for free. About 450,000 FPL managers use it, which is a crazy number, and those are the things it does. Suspension tracker, clean sheet odds, captaincy, bonus points, defcons. And if you want to unlock the premium features as well, it's like 77p a week, which gives you the extra premium tools. You can customize your dashboard, like the layout of the widgets, the theme. You can hide the ads and all those good things. So do check it out if you've not got it. Predictions in the chat. Top scorer this week. It was O'Reilly. Last game week, 17-pointer. That might be the first King of the Game week I've had all season that I've actually owned. That might be a lie. Who do you guys reckon it'll be this week? Busted Flush says 3 free transfers punt. What are your thoughts on Sharda, Ryan and Dekatike? I like Dango more than Sharda, just about, and just about more than Ryan. But Ryan's nice. I think I like that, to be honest. I think Sharda's fine. I like those moves. I won't want to tell someone not to get Sharda because I do have this feeling he's going to be really good. Palmer, Thiago, mate. If it's Palmer against Arsenal, Rodgers, Sharda, and Mbumo, Rodgers, Jimenez, Van Dijk, Ryan. But I mean, those are like two of those are the spiciest differentials the game has got to offer right now. Busted Flush, Sharda, and Ryan. I like that. I like those moves. It's not even a punt, really, is it? It's just like differentials. Like they are good picks with those fixtures. Dallo, Bruno, Wilson. Devastating if it's Wilson, because I'm going Dango first. Akash says Kelleher, Gabriel, Van Dijk, Senesi, Bruno, Scott, Rice, Cherky, Thiago captain, Dubravka, Enzo, Rodon, Munoz. What are your thoughts? No free transfers. Scott. Okay. So, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Haven't you got 11 players there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I thought you had... Sorry, I thought you had 12 players there. That is 11. I'm not sure about Cherky's minutes. I'm not sure about Scott as a pick either. But it looked... Yeah, I would line up the same with no free transfers left. I would put Munoz ahead of Rodon on the bench. That's about all I would change there. Looks fine. Verts News. Yeah, Slot says it sounds like he's going to be out this week. It could be longer on Verts, unfortunately. Yeah, Matty Cash, I don't mind. Best defender transfers this week, I'd say Van Dijk. O'Reilly, like if you can get through 31, I would say second, but that's heavily dependent on that. Otherwise, he would be right down there. I think Hill, Senesi, and then Cash. So yeah, he's definitely like up there, top 5. Gogar says, are you holding on to Mukiele hoping he's going to play a 31? Yeah, I just don't have the luxury to sell him. I'll keep hold. They said 2 to 3 weeks, so in theory, he could be back in time for the Newcastle game. Because that's on the 22nd of March, so that's 3.5 weeks. So yeah, in theory, he's okay. I don't even know if I'll play him, but it would be nice to have him on the bench. Love the videos from Snell. Thank you very much. Appreciate you saying that. There's been a lot of kind words on the videos this week. Some awesome comments. I still read every comment on videos. I know I don't reply to a lot because it's just impossible, but I do genuinely still read every comment. Now and again I say it in videos that I still read all your comments, so leave one below, and then people leave a comment to try and catch me out. You'll never catch me out because I read them all. Ricardo says, hi Oscar, is Munoz worth keeping or buy O'Reilly? The thing is, O'Reilly also blanks in 31. So if you're planning to like free hit in 31, or if you've got loads of transfers, you've got enough players to get through, then Munoz to O'Reilly's nice. Otherwise, I would be looking at a Van Dijk, someone like that. Do you wear your watch on your left or your right wrist? I wear it on my right, actually. I've got it here. I had it on today for the FPL show. Wait, is it? Can you see it in that photo? Yeah, look, there it is. Right, I actually wear it on my right, which I don't think is normal. Do you wear it on your left or your right? I have it on my right wrist, which apparently is not normal. But I'm a bit back to front. Like I'm right-handed, but I'm left-footed, which I think is even rarer. So I don't know what's going on in my brain, but right wrist always feels right to me. But I'm right-handed and left-footed. So I think a few wires are crossed and a few I's aren't dotted in my brain, but that feels right to me. That's weird. Everyone wears it on the left. Left feels so wrong to me. Oh, no, I could never do that. At Glastonbury, like you wear the wristband on your left because you don't want to wear your wristband on your wiping hand when you go to the toilet. But a watch, right hand. You're also right-handed and left-footed. Mate, there's probably about a dozen of us. You did well on the show, Oscar. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, it was a good show. It was good fun. I did enjoy it. Right is feminine. I guess I'm feminine then. Right, anyway. Let's keep going. Super chat from Aya without a message, but thank you for that. Hashtag LK as well. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Welcome to the new members. And Marty says, my weekly question for Bruggen or Dubravka. So last week I said for Bruggen, and he got you 7. Well, who's he got this week? Is it a tougher game for Brighton? They've got Forest home. I think it has to be the Verbruggen again. I don't know if you'll get as lucky as back-to-back. Maybe you will, but I would definitely say Verbruggen over Dubravka. Is Hill a risk? I don't think he will. I mean, it's not impossible for some managers to chop and change things midweek. Just because of the quick turnaround. Like some teams are playing, Saturday and then again on Tuesday. You're also right-handed and left-footed. It's weird, isn't it? Maybe it's not weird. Maybe it's more normal than I thought. I don't know if I've met anyone. My brother, I think, is the only one I know that's right-handed, left-footed. Anyway. Jacob says, Enzo and Timber to Van Dijk and Wilson. Or Enzo and Rice to Dango and Wilson. I prefer the first combination. Timber, I think, is more of a sell than Rice. Yeah, go for the first one, Jacob. Annihilism says defence of Gabriel Gw28, Van Dijk, Senesi, Tarkowski. Which 4 would you play? PS. Thanks for missing the previous chat. Did I? Let me go up. Did I? Sorry if I missed that. Apologies. Sorry. I didn't do that on purpose. Sorry about that. So which 4? So Gabriel, yes. Gw, yes. Van Dijk, yes. Senesi, yes. Yeah, it's got to be Tarkowski just because of the worst clean sheet odds. But Tarkowski's got Burnley home in 29, so you're great to be able to keep him and bench him like that. But I would bench him, yeah. Apologies again for that. 13 Killing says, hi Oscar, can you help with this please? He's got Rye, Gabriel, Anderson, O'Reilly. So he's got Chalobah, Gu, Dorgu on the bench. 2 free transfers, 0.6 mil. Probably replace Chalobah and Dorgu, but who to bench then? So you Chalobah to Van Dijk. I think you can afford that, can't you, with the 0.6? Chalobah to Van Dijk. Can you afford that in 1? I don't think you need to make a second move. But yeah. Who to bench then? So Gabriel, Anderson, O'Reilly, Sar Rice. So then you bench Enzo. Yeah, I'll do that. Chalobah to Van Dijk and then bench Enzo. If you need to make 2 moves to fund it, then you'd have to do Enzo to Dango and bench Anderson. That's the one. What the Guac? Thanks for the 3 months. He says start Chow or Hill. I would go Hill, I think. Yeah, I feel like Sunderland are in a bit of a rut right now, and I think they're okay to target. So I would go Hill. It's pretty close. I imagine the clean sheet odds are probably close as well, though. Let's see. Oh, they're literally dead even. Both 34%. Didn't expect them to be that close. I think I'd go Hill. Did Newcastle play... Was it this week just gone against Karabag? Or did I imagine that? I'd say Hill maybe just edges it. Torb says, I fucking love you, Oscar, my G. Thank you very much. Thanks for that, mate. Goga says, do you not feel burnout from constant content creation? What keeps you disciplined and on track? Thanks for doing this, though. Love your content. I'll show you what I've got on my monitor. And this might look or sound ridiculous, but let me show you. Sometimes I look at it as a reminder. I wrote it a few years ago. I don't know if you can see that. I look at that every day when I'm doing my videos. It's back to front, I think. But anyway, I got it from, I watched an episode of The Bear, and they had it written on the wall. And I thought, that's brilliant, because I sit at my desk a lot making videos. And to be fair, it sounds pathetic. Like, how can you like sometimes have burnout and you just sit at home making FPL content? But like sometimes you genuinely can. Sometimes it's just like, I don't know how to articulate it, but definitely sometimes it happens. Like last season at one point, I was so burnt out, I literally went on a solo holiday to Budapest. And that was such a sick holiday. I ended up staying at a youth hostel and met like the soundest people ever, properly connected with people. Yeah, and we just like all hung out there, did like bar crawls and that sort of thing. So like it does happen, but it's one of those like I never complain about it publicly because I don't really need the sympathy, and I feel like I'm in a really good position where I am. So it's like it's one of those. It's all relative, isn't it? Like some people be like, "Oh, I'm burnt out," but then like your life could be significantly worse than it is right now. For millions or billions, it is significantly worse. So like, can you really complain? Sometimes perspective just changes everything. But yeah, it does happen sometimes. And I definitely speak to others that have felt it. I think more than me. I very rarely feel it, to be fair. I can normally just go a whole season and not feel even like a little bit of burnout. But yeah, sometimes. Hopefully that's a good answer. Georgie says Saka and Gordon for Rice and Enzo for differential picks. Nah, Saka blanks in 29. Sorry, in 31. Gordon, I don't trust his minutes enough. I would rather Dango and Wilson. They're still relatively low owned, to be fair. Ashley says, thanks, Oscar. The kids are crying now. Hey, give them some perspective. Tell them it could be a lot worse than it is right now, kids. You got a good life. This is a deep, inspirational moment. Perspective, lads. It's true, like, perspective. Sometimes you have to just give yourself perspective, man. You're like, what am I even moaning about? Is this on YouTube? Why are you so methodical? It's true, isn't it? Like, perspective. Word of the day. Perspective. Right, I've lost track of where I got to here. Got the Focal tune on though, so let's turn that up. Yes, I mean, honestly, Dango like is still a differential, so why not just like Dango and Wilson? Max says, why don't you go Enzo and Rice to Dango Wilson this week? Basically, yeah, I could do it this week, but I like the idea of having 2 transfers in Gameweek 29 just in case something goes wrong, and I've got the flexibility. But also, I think Wilson's not significantly better than Rice this week. Like, Rice has hit DEFCON in about 50% of his games. He's got 12 goal involvements. I think he's fine home to Chelsea. Hi Oscar, you legend. I hope you live 500 plus years to teach them aliens FPL. Rice and Enzo to Wilson and Dango, or sell Timber for Van Dijk, or simply roll. I would do Enzo to Dango. I wouldn't do the Rice move. Enzo to Dango, that's it. That's fine. Timber to Van Dijk is optional, but I'd rather sell Timber than Rice. Salah captain, return of the king. Right, Captain Poll, and I'll keep going with the questions. We'll go Haaland, Bruno. Who would be the third one? Thiago. Poll is up. Balmahua says, start Timber or Anderson. Sar for Wilson, 6 blankers. I think Timber's okay to keep this week. I think Anderson's pretty sideways. Sar for Wilson I like more. Yeah, I would do that. Sar to Wilson I think is the one. Oh, start Timber. I would start Timber, just about. Timber over Anderson. Aya says, Krupi, Enzo, Rice to Thiago, Ryan and Dango from -4. I would just do Krupi to Thiago, Or do you have to do all 3 to fund it? If you have to do all 3 to fund it, that's fine. Otherwise, I wouldn't do the Rice move. If you can just do Enzo to Dango, Krupi to Thiago, I would just do that. If you need to do all 3 to fund it, that's fine. I think that's a solid -4, definitely. What's Tom doing? What was it? What was he doing? God, I can't even remember. I only edited the video last night. What did he do? Oh, it was Enzo to Wilson. That was it. Yeah, Danny remembers. What's my move? I'm doing Enzo to Dango. Tom's doing Enzo to Wilson. Yeah, Tom's, as far as I'm aware, he's sticking with Bruno. I was chatting to him about it just before going live, but he's pretty... I think he feels both are great, but he's kind of feeling quite strongly about Bruno. Tom's in Mallorca, is he? I didn't know that. Can you ask Tom what his favourite biscuit is? I'm not wasting Tom's time with that question. I can ask him stuff like what move he's done, who he's captaining, but yeah, he's doing Enzo to Wilson. The Sky Rio says, should I start Wilson or João Pedro? I would start Wilson, Sky Rio. Ridge, thank you for this 6 months. What's your plan? Thanks for all you do. My plan is Enzo to Dango, and then in 29 it'd probably be Rice to Wilson. I can afford to get both basically, so I think Dango makes sense first against Burnley, and then Wilson in 29. I'm super behind again, so I think we have to pause super chats because I want to make sure everyone gets answered. So Akshat with the 3 months says, love the content, Oscar. 88k currently. Good rank, good rank. I'd be happy with that at this stage of the season. DGP says he did Neto to Verts last night. Worst mistake ever. So, why did you do that? I don't think Verts was going up. Was Neto going down? I don't think Neto went down. livefpl.net/prices is basically essential for FPL because you can track the price changes. And if Neto's not going down, Verts isn't going up or down, then just wait until the day of the deadline. And then you get all the press conferences and maybe even get leaks. Just one of those, like we've all been there to be fair, and it's just like a learning moment to basically just keep an eye on price changes. And even if one of them was changing in price, I wouldn't have done it. Because at this point of the season, like we've spent 28 game weeks building up our team value. Point 1 is nothing to me over all the information that you get in press conferences. And that's a good example. Like we found out from Slot that Verts is probably out. So at this point of the season, like 0.1 mil is just rarely worth chasing for me. Oh, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships, Akshat. Appreciate you. Thanks for that, mate. Welcome to the 10 new members. Courtesy of Akshat Kumar. Appreciate you. Thanks for that. Luke says, Saliba, Rice, Enzo for Van Dijk, Gordon, and Sharda, no hit. I like that. I don't know so much about Gordon. He's one of those, like, he's on pens. I think he's been playing as a 9. I prefer Dango and Wilson, but Gordon's okay. I think they've got... Have they not got Champions League either side of... I forget what game it is. I'm not sure about Gordon's minutes. I don't think I'd go there. HF FPL, thanks for the 10 months. He says, Verts and Enzo and Q to Wilson and Thiago -4. Yeah, that's worth it. That's worth a -4. I like that. Ricardo says, who would you say is a better choice between Sharda or Dango? Good luck everyone this week. Thanks for the videos, man. This one's so close. For me, I guess Lewis Potter can play left wing. That's what just puts me off Sharda slightly, but Sharda is more explosive. Like he's better for expected goal involvement this season. It's super close. In theory, Dango's a little bit safer, so if I could afford both, I still think I'd go Dango just about. I've just got a feeling like Sharda's going to be great though, and Yeah, we'll see. I'll have to come back to this moment, but I've been saying it in content as well. I just feel like Sharda's going to be great these next 4. I think his minutes are going to be pretty good. There could be early subs, but yeah, we'll see. Dango, though, just about. Oscar, thank you for the super chat. Shoz says, who would you choose? Oh, yeah, same question about Sharda and Dango, so hopefully that helps what I said to Ricardo. I would still go Dango just about. Just about. Hashtag says he's got 5 free transfers. Sanchez, Dubravka, Gabriel, Timber. Any advice? No wildcard. Much love, he says. So, I would start Dubravka, Gabriel, Timber. Nothing in the bank. Okay. So, Enzo to Dango. Chalobah to Van Dijk. That's it. 4-4-2. I don't think you need to spend any other moves. That's it. I think you can afford that. So Enzo is only like 6 point... I guess I can check it. 6.8 mil. Dango's 5.9, I think. So that frees up 0.7. Yeah, Chalobah to Van Dijk, Enzo to Dango. If you can't afford that, do a third move to fund it, but I think you can. Did I miss it, Jan? Sorry, let me just double check. Where? Control F, Jan. I don't see it, Jan. I'm looking at the entire list here. It's not come through, whatever you said. There isn't one from me. Am I being blind? I definitely can't see one, sorry. I'm well behind it. Let me keep going. Trippers Gaming says, Raya, Timber, Gabriel, Anderson, Mukiele, 2 free transfers, 1 mil in the bank. Can you help? So Enzo to Dango, that's what I'm planning to do. So I'd recommend that. Don't think you need to spend a second move. No, you don't. 3-5-2. I would leave it at that. 3-5-2. You could do Sarr to Wilson, I suppose. Enzo to Dango, and if you want, consider the Sarr to Wilson, but you've got Mukiele and Dorgu, so you have to be careful. But yeah, I would do that. Brian says Saliba to Hill, Evan Nilsson to Akatike, or Saliba to Van Dijk and hold. I would hold, yeah. I know Evan Nilsson's been so annoying, but Sunderland home, I'd rather just do Saliba to Van Dijk. Connor says he's made 3 transfers this game week, taking a -4 hit. He's brought in Wilson for Enzo, Thiago for Gw, and he's downgraded Rice to Lefay to fund the moves of Bruno captain. So I like the moves. Do I have anything good to add to that though? I'm trying to think if I've got anything. I mean, you've already made the moves. Wilson, great Enzo replacement. Thiago, great Gw replacement. Yeah, and in terms of the budget mids, I guess Lefay is probably the best one, but there's also Stack, Dewsbury Hall. I think Lefay's great. He's on pens, to be fair. No, I think I agree with that. Looks good, Connor. Sorry it took me so long to get to your message. Yosov says, assuming that you already own Wilson, would you do Rice to Dango, Sharda, or Roll? If you've only got 1 transfer, I'd roll. If you've got 2, I would do it. I'd like the idea of keeping an extra transfer banked. Flanny says, like the stream if you enjoy the content. Yeah, I always forget to ask. Hit like below if you're enjoying the stream, and do hit the subscribe button below. It's completely free. We've got a stacked few days ahead. We've got the game tonight, games tomorrow, games Sunday, and then I'll have a video Sunday, probably, maybe even 2 on Sunday, 2 on Monday, and then we've got more midweek games. You're up to 5k in the world and you're top 5 in the Focal Experts League. Very nice. Yeah, the experts are killing it now. It's like 8 top 10k and it's something like 28 top 50k now in the Experts League. I know a lot of you say that's your favourite series, so it's good to see them actually doing really well. Oscar top 1k by next weekend. Mate, no chance. I'd need to have an absolutely stellar week where everyone scores or returns. Nah, no chance. I'm more trying to just stay inside 10k than looking at like 1k. I'm not sure how far off I am. I can't even think about that right now. 1 week at a time, 1 game week at a time. Right. So Oscar says Chalobah to Van Dijk or Kanate. I would go Van Dijk. Sanchez to Kelleher, Enzo to Dango, and Rice to Wilson. You've got 3 free transfers. I would do Enzo to Dango, Chalobah to Van Dijk. I don't know if I'd make the keeper transfer. I think I would just play Dubravka if he's your backup, or just play Sanchez even if he's all you've got. So just do Chalobah to Van Dijk, Enzo, Dango. Our Jagannath says Ryan's far more explosive than Wilson and Dango. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. He looks super sharp. It's just the small sample size. We don't know exactly what we're going to expect from him. He could definitely end up being the best of the budget mids. It's just an unknown quality, isn't he? Anyone buying Ryan this week? I think he's a nice option. Ryan's great. Dango's great. Wilson's great. Stein says Gw to Thiago, Timber to Hill, now hit. Yeah, I think for a -4 in combination, that's fine. I really like I know Thiago's blanked a lot recently, but his next 4 are so good. I think that's worth a hit. And then Noff says bench 1 out of Calvert-Lewin, Munoz, and Anderson. I would bench. Oh, it's got to be Calvert-Lewin against City. Bench Anderson. HF FPL says sell Verts or Enzo. Anderson would cover Verts. I think it has to be Verts. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Slot say he's not sure when he'll be back? I just don't like that wording at all. I think you have to sell the injured player first, I hate to say. Unless you're in a situation where you needed him to have 11 and 31. If you're out of transfers, then I would just play Anderson. Sorry, Kev Wick, I'm just getting almost there. Oscar says Chalobah to Van Dijk. Did I not do this? I said Chalobah to Van Dijk and then Enzo to Dango. That was it. And then I said I wouldn't do the keeper transfer and I wouldn't sell Rice this week. So you keep a spare transfer there. Kevwick, sorry, took me so long to get to you. Wilson, Ryan, Cash, Senesi, bench 1 and Rurfs or Dubravka. I think it'd have to be bench Cash. Senesi's home to Sunderland. I'd start him. Bench 1 out of Rurfs and Dubravka. So not much between them. I'd probably bench Dubravka. I can never trust Burnley for a clean sheet. Maybe there's save points in there, but nah, he's got the home game. No, I'd start Dubravka. They're both going to concede, but Dubravka probably gets you more save points, if nothing else. Amy Pan's 3 free transfers. Team is Ryan, Timber, Gabriel, O'Reilly. Benches Dubravka, Stack you. What are your thoughts? 3 free transfers. Okay. Did you already have O'Reilly last couple of weeks, Amy? Smashed it. I would do Enzo. I think Enzo to Wilson, because the rest of your midfield is set. Enzo to Wilson, and that's it. Roll the other 2 transfers. Oh, you've got a Stack on the bench. 0.8 million. Yeah, you can't afford both. This one's tricky because I think maybe you go Dango first in for Enzo and then Stack to Wilson in 31. Maybe in 29. I think you do Enzo to Dango, Amy. And then just pencil in Stack to Wilson either in 29 or 31. Yeah, I like that. Gogo says Enzo to Dango. Oh, I've lost it. That just vanished. Where did that go? Enzo to Dango, Chalobah to Van Dijk, -4. Is it worth it? For -4, probably not. Unless you need both in combinations. I would just do Chalobah to Van Dijk, I think, and play Enzo. For a -4, it's not bad though. I quite like it. I think Chelsea are a sell. I think that's okay. I probably would be boring if it was me and my team, and I would say don't do that. Just do Chalobah to Van Dijk. But if it's one of those where you can't afford Chalobah to Van Dijk without the other moves, then I would say do both for the -4. Mark says, hi Oscar, hi Haaland. Hi Haaland? Do you mean hi chat? Hi, I mean, unless Haaland's it. Is Haaland in the chat? That'd be sick. Haaland's got a new channel, hasn't he? Imagine if Haaland just popped in chat. Hi Haaland, he says, Salah captain, Mukiele to Van Dijk or Enzo to Zoboslai, Frimpong and Gomez spotted in training. Follow and sub, he says. Good luck, everyone. Thank you, Mark. Salah captain, fair play. I hope it goes well. I respect it. I respect it a lot. Mukiele to Van Dijk, Enzo to Zobo. I guess Mukiele to Van Dijk first. I know what you're saying about Gomez and Frimpong, but I think he could still start right back. But yeah, I think Van Dijk first. Jonathan says -4 Enzo to someone or play DCL and move next week. I think -4 Enzo to Dango's alright. Arsenal away is just such a bad fixture for the Chelsea attackers. I think that's okay. Enzo to Dango, unless you can't, unless it has to be one or the other. Wilson or Dango, then Wilson first. But I think some people can add both within the next 4 weeks, in which case I'd go Dango first. That's what I'm doing. Why don't you play Mane ahead of Enzo? I'm going to sell Enzo in a minute. Before the stream's finished. I haven't made my transfer yet. I will be. I will do it. Who takes Verts' spot? Well, yeah, that's the question, I suppose. Like, it could be Zoboslai. It could be Jones. Jones started ahead of him last game. Depends if Zoboslai is right back or not. Akshat says, would you suggest Bruno captain if my goal is to chase? Yeah, definitely. If you're chasing, he's the chasing move for sure. He is the big upside captain. And he's actually ahead of Haaland by a star on the captaincy widget. T Blake Music, -4 Mukiele to Hill or drop Garner, Madueke, Barry. I wouldn't sell Mukiele for a -4 if you can start Garner, Madueke or Barry. I would start Garner. Lauren Davis says, goalkeeper this week. Shall I play Kelleher or Martinez? I think you got to play Kelleher when he's got Burnley. Yeah, he's actually joined top in the clean sheet odds, 38%, Lauren. So I would play Kelleher. Where are Villa? They're not far behind though. It's 4% difference. 34% for Villa, 38% for Brentford. I'd play Kelleher. I think they're the worst team for expected goals as well as expected goals conceded, Burnley. So they're a team to target, like both ends of the pitch. Apollo says, Tarkan Enzo out for O'Reilly and Dango. 2 free transfers, 1.8 mil and 58k. Is it worth it? I like buying... You can barely hear the music. Let me turn it up a bit. Is that better? Some of the songs are quiet, some aren't. That's the problem. This is one I made as well, so I probably just messed up the volume when I made it. What are we saying? So on O'Reilly's great if you can still get 11 players out, definitely in 31, and ideally with a transfer spare. Like, I wouldn't want to be in a position where you buy an O'Reilly and you need everything to go right between now and then. You need at least one transfer wiggle room, at least. One is probably fine. So yeah, it depends on that. Otherwise, just do Enzo to Dango. And instead do something like Tarkowski to Van Dijk or Hill. Red Mujan Maho says, Cash, Timber, Senesi, Rice, Bruno, Elliot. Oh, is that Elliot Anderson? For some reason I thought Harvey Elliott then. So 1 free transfer, Rice to Dango, Chalobah to Van Dijk, -4, bench after transfers. Do you need to do both to fund it? Otherwise, I'll just do Chalobah to Van Dijk. Otherwise, if it has to be both from -4, I think that's okay. You should get the hit back. Yeah, I think that's fine if you need to do both together. Dave says, I made that silly mistake of bringing Verts in. Do I hold him and let Chalobah, Roden or Stack come in for him, or change him from -4? Probably not for a -4. Who would I start? Chalobah, Stack, Rodon. I'd probably give Stack a start, just because he's good for DEFCON. He's on set pieces. You never know. I would just play Stack. It's one of those. It's unfortunate, Dave, but we move. Just play Stack. Chalobah ahead of Rodon on the bench. James England says, I'm sitting a 40k of 3 free transfers, wildcarding in 31. 31 or 32? So you're wildcarding the blank. You want Gw and Rice to Thiago and Wilson, but you're 1k off. Do you mean 1 mil off? You got Ryan, and then you got Gabriel, Riley, Tarkowski, Anderson, Mukiele, Rice and Bumo, Bruno Anderson, Haaland, Ekatike and Gw. So what are you asking? Where to make the third transfer? So I think it'd have to be Tarkowski to Hill. James, you could do that. Tarkowski to Hill. That's your third move, and that funds it all. Oh wait, that's not a million, is it? I don't think you can find the million anywhere here. Oh, Ekatike to Thiago. No, sorry, you're selling Gw for him. I don't think you can find the million here. I don't think it's possible. I'm not seeing somewhere to free up the money. I don't think I can help with this. I just don't think there's a way to free up the money. I think instead, maybe just do... yeah. I don't think there's a way to do it. If that's what you're asking me. If you're a million off. If you're 0.1 million off, is that what you meant? Tarkowski to Hill works great. Yeah, I'm struggling to see anything else. Unless you wanted to do like a -4 and you also did Mukiele to a cheaper defender. Not that you need them this week, like a Rodon or something like that. Tom's team. Tom's team is the same as the team selection video from this morning. He's doing Enzo to Wilson. Prince Farouk, thanks for the 14 months. He says, hey Oscar, Sar/Enzo to Dango or Wilson. I think because given that you can sell both, I think Enzo to Dango makes sense first because he's got Burnley. And then Sar to Wilson in Gameweek 29. I just think that order makes sense to me. I know everyone seems to be going Wilson, but every team's different in fairness. Some people only have room for one, and if I had to only pick one, it's Wilson. But if you've got the scope to add both, I think Dango now and Wilson can wait a week. Or you could even buy Wilson now, that's fine as well. You've got 2 transfers, buying both is fine because you're selling Sar. In my case, I've got Rice. I don't mind just leaving Rice in for a game and staying on 2 transfers. Joshua Gray, start 1, Enzo from Chelsea, Lefay or Sar. I would start Sar at Old Trafford. I think, and then Lefay and then Enzo in the bench order. Gogo says, Chow, Joachim Anderson, Zoom, Mane, bench 2. Definitely start Chow. Definitely start Joachim. Say bench with Mane and Mane. Start the first 2. Boom Chiga says, I'm worried about O'Reilly / Boomo minutes. O'Reilly's prime for classic bench, pep benching. Seska may start, Ahmad, impact carrot structure, Palace low block. O'Reilly I think is safe. It would be, I don't know, maybe it's famous last words, but he's found a system that's really clicked, and that involves O'Reilly playing as an 8, and I just don't personally see it. It feels like Man City smell blood and they're just going to keep going. So I'd be surprised with an O'Reilly benching, so I wouldn't overthink that. And Bumo, we'll see. He's so important, I just would also be surprised personally. Sesko may start. It's possible. I wouldn't overthink that. We'll see. You have to be careful you don't overthink these sort of things sometimes, and they can end up making you make worse decisions. RSSA says bench Elliot Anderson or Krupi. I'd bench Krupi. If I knew Krupi starts, I'd say start Krupi, but we don't know that. Right, scout selection. How many players have you got? It's Petrovic, Gabriel, Van Dijk, O'Reilly, Bruno and Bumo, Wilson, Ryan, Haaland, Ekatike and Thiago. It's a very strong looking team this week. So for me, it would be Gabriel, Van Dijk, O'Reilly. I actually could have loads this week. Bruno and Bumo. Haaland. 7. That's the most I've had in a long time, I think. 7. Anyone got more than 7? You got 6 at the moment. Including whatever transfer you plan to make. How many have you got from the scout selection? How's the music volume? Is this okay at this level? Or is it a smidge too loud? Most transfers. Van Dijk is top just about. 629,000. And then O'Reilly. And then Thiago, Zoboslai, Wilson, Semenyo, Ekatike, Hill, and Bumo, Dango, Ryan, Kelleher. JH says, I've got the same team, but Zubimeni instead of Rice and Lefay instead of Rogers. 3 free transfers, 1.8 mil. Thanks, Oscar. Just want to quickly check most sold. Enzo, Chalobah. You can't hear it. I'll turn it up even more then. It's coming through quite loud in my ear, so I wasn't sure if you could hear the same I can hear. Anyway, so there we go. That's the most sold list. So your team is the same, but you got Zubimeni instead of Rice, Lefay, 3 free transfers, 1.8 mil. So Zubimeni to Dango. Zubimeni to Dango. And can you afford Lefay to Wilson? You might not be able to afford that just about. In which case, I would just play Lefay against Bournemouth and do Zubimeni to Dango. And then you could spend 2 moves next week to do Lefay to Wilson. What's your plan moves, if any, Oscar? I'm going to do Enzo to Dango. That's my one move. I've got 2 transfers, but I'm just going to roll the other one. Just in case. I could do Rice to Wilson, and maybe I'll end up regretting that. But I don't know. My gut feeling is Rice home to Chelsea is okay to just keep him. Oh, 1k was 0.1 mil. So that question earlier about how to fund it. Tarkowski to Hill, if you're still watching. Razan says, Mukiele to Hill, worth a free transfer, or Enzo to Dango. Well, Enzo to Dango is much more upside, so I would do that. Unless you literally have 10 players this week because of the Mukiele injury. Then it would be that takes priority. Otherwise, Enzo to Dango is definitely the priority there. If you're a 350k, would you go against Haaland captain? Yeah, I would. I would be on Bruno captain. Oh, I've managed to not think about captaincy until now, but now what's the captain poll saying? 61% Haaland, 29% Bruno, 5% Thiago, 4% other. Yeah, it's one of those. Like, so if Bruno hauls against Palace and Haaland blanks again against Leeds, for all I know, it could be 5k, top 5k by Tuesday. But the other side of the coin is I'm top 10k right now, and if I captain Haaland, Bruno blanks, then I've gained a little bit of rank and I stay where I am. But on the if I captain Bruno blanks, Haaland hauls, I could be 20k. So I don't know. What would you do? I feel like I can count on the rest of my team as well to help me out with the points. Yeah, I've been really going back and forth on this one quite a bit. I was chatting to Harry and Ross about it just now as well. I think Ross is on Bruno captain, Harry's on Haaland. Tom is the FPL GOAT, literally #1 all time, and he's on Bruno. This could be one of those moments where I'm like, I'm never doubting Tom again. What's Harry's number? It's 0742. Yeah, right. What else was I saying earlier? So, yeah, I mean, Haaland, according to the bookies, has got a higher projected goal involvement. 67.4%. Bruno, 57.4%. Not much in it. But then, like, Bruno's got the extra point per goal if he scores. He's got They get a clean sheet point. Bruno's underlying data is slightly better the last 6. But then there's the rank security of Haaland. But then Palace had to play last night. That could fatigue them. Oh, mate, honestly, it's a really, really difficult one this week for me. The more I've thought about it. And maybe that's where I've gone wrong, thinking about it more and more. Have you guys ever made a decision and then you thought about it more and you've ended up arriving at the wrong decision? Anyway, I don't think you guys care. I'm just thinking out loud about captaincy. It's just a big one for me this week. It's really tricky. Because I'm in such a great position at 8k. I think this is the second best rank I've had at this stage. Last season was third best. Best ever was the rank 1 season years ago. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to leave it. I'm not touching it anyway. Every week. Yeah. Every week. Overthinking. It's not a straightforward one. Definitely, I'll concede that. Right, where did I get to here? I think it was Red Mujam says Timber, Cash, Nessie, João Pedro bench 1. I'd bench João Pedro definitely there. DK says Zoboslai -4 to start over Timber or Krupi worth it. Nah, just start Timber. Timber's perfectly fine to start for me. Butter Knight says top 5 captains this week. Oh, don't get me started on bloody captains again. I think Haaland and Bruno, you could make a case for either of them being 1 or 2. So one of those is first, one second. Bruno, Haaland, and then Salah home to West Ham, Thiago, Ekatike, something like that. Go for broke Focal. Easy for you to say, just watching a stream, like, go for broke Focal. If you screw up, then it'll be entertaining. But for me, it's like, it's got to be a big decision. It's a calculated decision, I think. It'd be devastating if it just massively backfired. But on the other side of the coin, I could have an absolutely legendary weekend if Bruno hauls and Haaland blanks. But I've made my mind up. Craig says Enzo / Tarkowski / Rice to Ryan, Van Dijk and Boomo. You've got Wilson. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Good moves. I like Dango more than Ryan if you can afford him. But Ryan's great. Yeah. I think Ryan's really nice with Sunderland home, especially this week. Both are great. Yeah, I like the moves. Go for it. Struggling with this game says, hi Oscar, 2 free transfers. Enzo to Wilson. And Zubameni to Dango. Or just do one transfer, roll the other. Next week I'm going to have Munoz's problem as well. I would do both. Yeah, both makes sense to me. If I had 2 transfers and those 2, I would make both moves. Do it. Tim, thanks for the 33 months. He says, Focal, don't forget, Haaland never scores against... Oh, mate. I forgot you said that last time round as well. Never scores against Leeds. He's Leeds through and through. What is his... How many times has he played him, though? Is that not the first time? Haaland record versus Leeds. Nah, he scored against them. In the 22-23 season... In Gameweek 17, Haaland scored a brace away at Leeds. But then he did blank that later that season at the Etihad, and then he blanked this season at the Etihad. But he did score a brace in Gameweek 17 in 22-23. I've had to buzz the consultants on that. They've just fact-checked it. VAR on that. Haaland has scored against Leeds. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. That's also true. That's valid. Like, what was that? 4 years ago. Completely different manager. Was it? Yeah, completely different manager, different system, different squad. We don't have a good sample size. It's rarely that helpful as well to look at past records unless it's same managers. You know, generally same tactics and squads. You know, the managers that have been around a long time are useful for comparison, you know, like Pep, Arteta, Guardiola. Pep and Guardiola. I was going to say Howe, sorry. So he scored 2 and 3. He scored in 1 game against them. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Gaz says he's got 3 free transfers. Transfer out Mukiele, and don't let me forget to make my transfers, by the way, guys, because I do get caught up with the questions, and then I forget the time. It wasn't at 6, was it? No, it's 6:30 deadline. 3 free transfers. Transfer out Mukiele, Enzo, João Pedro for Van Dijk, Dango, Thiago. Played the Bravka, leave Van Dijk in, and transfer out Sanchez for Alisson. I think I just played the Bravka there. Mukiele, Enzo, João Pedro. Yeah, do it. I think those moves are great, Gaz, honestly. 3 huge upgrades. So you're getting rid of an injured player. You're getting rid of 2 Chelsea attackers playing the hardest possible fixture. And you're buying 2 attackers that have got the easiest possible fixture, Burnley. So yeah, go for it. Abidav, thank you for the super chat. Ant says Pedro and Enzo to Thiago, Dango or Zoboslai -4. I think I would just do... I don't mind Dango for -4, but I'd probably just do Pedro to Thiago and leave it at that, personally. You'd need Enzo to blank, Dango to score. It's not impossible. Luke says Enzo or Verts to Zoboslai / Gakpo / Tavernier Sharda Dango. I think you might have to sell Verts first, just in case he's out longer, because Gameweek 29 is in a few days. I think Dango I like the most out of that list. Verts to Dango. Those of you that have got Verts, what are you doing with him? Let's do a poll on the best budget mids. We'll go, who's the best budget mid out of these 4? Wilson, Dango. Who else should I put on this? Ryan. Who should be the 4th? Other? Am I missing someone obvious? Wilson, Dango, Ryan, other. We'll go with that. Zoboslai. Ah, yeah, Zoboslai. But then there's like Sharda. There's Tavernier. Yeah, there's so many good options. Oh, Anderson as well, yeah. Oh, there's so many good cheap mids. So we've got about half an hour till the deadline. Thank you all for being here. I hope you're enjoying the stream and finding it helpful / entertaining. We've got 2,500-ish watching, so hit subscribe below if you're not already. Yeah, Sharda is a good one. Mukiele replacements with 1.3 mil on the bank. Probably Hill. Random guy says Enzo to Dango or Pedro to Thiago or both -4. I would do... Someone asked us the same question, I think, and I said João Pedro to Thiago. I don't know if I would do Enzo out from -4, but I don't mind it if you want to just kind of get ahead of the curve a bit again, because Dango is nice, I think, for the next 4. And he has got Burnley, so it's kind of like the best fixtures this week. Otherwise, you'd probably go Wilson and 29 if you haven't got Wilson. And like, do you have to start Enzo? I probably wouldn't do the -4, but I don't mind it. It's really close whether you get that repaid. Is Rice to Dango good? Yeah, I don't mind that. That's not bad. That's quite a good move. Pedro for Thiago for a hit. You've got Dango in the team. Yeah, I think Thiago for a hit I can get behind more. Just because of the penalties. He's the talisman. You know, he's pretty much nailed for 90. So I think that's good, yeah. I like that. Right, keep your questions coming. Actually, let me check if there's been any leaks. I don't know if I'll get Liverpool news tonight, but I suppose I should have a quick look. Oh, has he messaged? Oh no, it's someone else. Someone replying to my Instagram story. FPL Focal on Instagram if you're not following me. Right. Let's get back into the flow state with these questions. So, where did we get to? I think it was OPME who sent a super chat without a message, but thank you for that. Per Hansen says Kelleher or Martinez for the fraud Sanchez. If I had to pick either, have you wildcarded already, or are you looking at the next 4 game weeks? We were looking at this earlier. Next 4 specifically. It's actually super close. Like Leno 1.3 projected clean sheets. Kelleher 1.2. Martinez, was it Martinez you said? Yeah, 1.1. So actually, Leno is favoured. He's got 3 home games in 4, so it's actually Leno. But you know, if you don't want to go double defence, maybe you've got Anderson or something, then I would go Kelleher. This is the Gameweek projections widget on the Focal app. In case you missed it, we added a new one called Points Changes, which shows you all the upcoming points changes in FPL well before they happen. It can be like a day before the points actually update on FPL, and that's completely free as well. FPL Focal on the App Store. Struggling with this game says start 2 of Alderete, Munoz, Elf and Anderson. So I'd start Anderson. Alderete, Munoz and Elf is really close. What's Tom doing? Tom is captain in Bruno, I believe, and he's going Enzo to Wilson. That's Tom's plan this week. So I'll start Anderson. Which second one would I start here? Probably Lefay after scoring the penalty. He's always got a potential return in him. I know it's Bournemouth away, but Munoz has got Man United away. I don't see a clean sheet there. I would go Lefay and Anderson. Ray Thomas says start Krupi or sell Enzo to Sharda for a free transfer. I would sell Enzo with a free transfer. I like Sharda. I like Dango. It's really close. I think Dango is potentially very slightly better just because the captaincy wage adds up to 100. Oh, Ekatike is not 9%. Sorry, that should read 1%. Good spot. Good spot. Yeah, Sharda's great though. I like Sharda. He's probably the biggest upside differential in the game right now. What transfers have you all made / making this week? Let us know in chat. And vote on the poll as well. I guess I should have put Sharda on that. Right, let me update that. So Ekatike 1%. There we go. Thanks for spotting that. So best budget mid. Wilson's top 58%, then Dango 29%, and then Ryan 7%. Only 5% other. So we did have that in the right order, to be fair, in terms of the names. Just 5% other. So like Zoboslai, Sharda, Anderson, the 5%. OPM says, who do I replace Enzo with? 5 mil in the bank. So if you haven't got Bruno, for example, with that 5 million, I'd go to him. What's Man United's fixtures after that? Would you get Mbumo? Probably not. Yeah. If you've got Bruno already, then I'd say Dango. Even with all the money in the bank, I'm not sure if there's someone worth going there. You can't afford Salah. Yeah, Enzo to Dango. Or Wilson. Dango or Wilson. Movie Idiot says, I can't decide between Wilson and Dango. Wait, I've really struggled with it as well. I've ended up deciding I'm going to get both, but Dango makes sense first because of Burnley. If you can literally only fit one in your team in the next 4 weeks, then I'd say Wilson just edges it. But it's so close, it really could go either way. But I'm looking to just do it that way round. So Dango first, then Wilson in 29. Or maybe I'll delay Wilson to 31, but that's my plan. They'll both come in. Mohammed says, Wirtz is injured. Should I get Jimenez or DCL from -4 to play instead of Nunes or Gabriel? I mean, Gabriel, you never bench him. I wouldn't even bench Gabriel away at City or away at Liverpool. Start Gabriel. Definitely not worth a hit. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by getting Jimenez or DCL, because they're strikers, so I definitely wouldn't sell Wirtz and a striker for a -4. You could just sell Wirtz to like a Dango or a Wilson, that's fine. But if you've got Gabriel, you play him regardless. Match your podcast, Enzo to Dango / Wilson or Pedro to Thiago. I think Pedro to Thiago is better than Dango and Wilson, so I'd start there and then do Enzo out. Is Wirtz out? Yeah, it sounds like he's going to miss the game, maybe a couple of games based on what Slot said. Nick says Timber or Munoz to either Van Dijk or Rowley. If you can do Munoz to Van Dijk, I would actually prioritise that over selling Timber personally. I was chatting to Ross about this before going live because he's doing Timber out, but I said personally I would do Munoz out for Van Dijk. Love you, Focal from Mo Fadilla. Appreciate you. Love you too. I'd do Munoz to Van Dijk. That's what I would do. I just can't imagine a clean sheet from Palace away at Old Trafford. Whereas Timber, he's joint top in the clean sheet odds. If anyone wants to see those, a few were asking, there they are. Arsenal joint top with Man United and Brentford. That air with the 14 months says bench one out of Gabriel, Dalot, Senesi and Van Dijk, please. I would bench Dalot. Does the clean sheet odds agree with that? We've got Senesi at 34. We've got Dalot at 38. So it's close, but then Senesi's so good for Defcons. Dallow's not. I would rather start Senesi personally. Van Dijk and Gabriel definites. I would start Senesi there. Home to Sunderland. Brobby's injured. Mukiele's injured. Will says, do I stick with Lefay or go Ryan? Can you afford Wilson or Dango? God, I don't know how many times I've said Wilson and Dango this stream. Bloody Wilson and Dango. It's, all this Wilson and Dango talk for them both to end up with 2 pointers this week probably. But honestly, I prefer Wilson and Dango to Ryan. If you can't afford them, then Lefay to Ryan is nice. I would do that. Sunderland home is a really, really nice fixture. I don't know if we're going to get leaks for those asking, because we've just got one game tonight. It's not likely to get leaks for tomorrow, but I'll check in a minute. I need to make my transfers as well, so I need to do that. Adam King says, sell Enzo or Sarr or both, Wilson, Dango. I would sell both. If you've got the scope to sell both, Wilson and Dango are really good replacements. Yeah, I would do both if I was in your position. Frankfurt, Germany says, mate, if you had to bench one out of Dango, Timber, Hill, Anderson, who would you? I'd bench Anderson against Liverpool. He probably gets Defcon, but the others are just better picks this week. Mohammed says, 5 free transfers, triple Arsenal, Gabriel, Timber, Rice, and Chelsea. Palmer, João Pedro, Chalobah, Mukiele as well. Tips for sales and buys, plan and buy and back. You got 5 free transfers. So I don't know who your whole team, but like Chalobah to Van Dijk I would do. João Pedro to Thiago is worth it. You know, Palmer to Bruno, if you've not got Bruno, is worth it. Basically, those are the players to target. So, you know, Palmer to Bruno, Chalobah to Van Dijk, João Pedro to Thiago. Those are the priority buys that you might not have. I would look there. Matish says, Cunha to Mbuma, is it worth it in isolation? I've got 3 free transfers. It's a little bit of an upgrade. Probably just about. It's one of those. Like, if Sesko comes in, who drops out? Would it be Cunha next time? Would it be Ahmad? With Mbeumo right wing? Or does he just keep starting as what's working now? I don't know if I would do that. It feels like a waste of a free transfer when they're so precious right now. You reckon it'd be Ahmad that misses out? Yeah, exactly. So, isn't Cunha injured? Is he? If Cunha's injured, then I would do that. But I must have missed that if that's true. Ibrahim says, should I do Keane to Hill and bench Munoz or roll? Keane to Hill. So, Yeah, I think that's worth it. Keane probably does start. I think O'Brien is suspended for one last game, but yeah, that makes sense. I would do that. Stephen Gallagher says, start Dubravka or Sanchez, -4 for Kelleher. I wouldn't take a hit for a keeper. I probably would never do that unless I was keeperless in a blank, or if it was a double game week and there was a really big swing there. Just play Dubravka. Frederick says he's got 0.2 mil free transfers. Timber, Enzo, Munoz out, and Bumo, Chow, and O'Reilly in. I've got pick for Nunez, Gabriel, Alderete, Rogers, Rice, Bruno, Charlotte, Thiago, Haaland. Just double check how many players you got blanking in 31 if you end up buying O'Reilly, because you've got Gabriel, Rice, Haaland, and then you'd have O'Reilly, and you've also got Nunez. That's 5 without knowing the rest of your team. I like the moves. Just double check how you look in Gameweek 31. Have you got Van Dijk already? Because if you can afford Van Dijk, he's a lot better than Chow for me, personally. Chow's good now in 31, but not so much the 2 games in between. How you doing, Sonny? Thanks for pinging by. Wallace says, saw you on the FPL pod, you were great. Hey, I got called out like minutes into the show for having Van Dijk and O'Reilly, but got a good screenshot from it. I got called out for that. I was like, I know it's jammy. It's been a really jammy couple of weeks, but what can I do? Someone's made a meme about it already. Absolute cinema. Yeah, it was a good episode because it's always good when I'm doing it with Harry because like we're really good mates in real life. We talk every day. Yeah, and this week I was doing it with Harry, which always adds to it. So we've got a bit of chemistry, bit of banter, eh? Right, I think we're going to have to pause Super Chats, guys, because I need to also make my transfers, and I don't want to leave anyone unanswered, so I think we're going to have to cut off there. So Will says, Enzo to Dango, Lafay to Wilson for free, shall I pull the trigger? Yeah, that's great, I like that, Will. Do it. Good moves. They're both good upgrades this week. Georgie says, is Rice... Teddy's at the door. Could hear him crying and scratching the door. Is Rice to Mbumo worth it until the end of the season? It's not about the end of the season. It's about, well, if you've still got your wild card, then you've still got that to go. And Mbumo, I don't know if you'd have him for the whole season. It depends on the double game weeks and stuff like that. I probably wouldn't do that this week. It's not bad though. It's not a bad move, but I don't know if I would do it. Mohammed says, I've got Dango, Wilson, Bruno, Rogers and Vert. Should I sell Verts and who for? To get Jimenez, DCL as a third thought. I'm not so sure about DCL and Jimenez. Maybe if Jimenez gets good minutes and he keeps hitting form in these next few weeks, then maybe in 31. But I don't like the early sub last game. Sell Verts. If I was selling Verts, so you already got those. Probably in Mbumo. Verts to Mbumo. Can you afford that? Mbumo is 8.7. Can you afford that? Otherwise, who else? You could go Sharda and just like I really like triple Brentford attack for the next 4, sorry. Right, hang on, sorry. Go on then, Teddy. 10 minutes to go. RDH, thank you very much for the super chat. Agok said he's got 4 free transfers. He's got Bruno and Dye, Enzo, Sar, Anderson, Bowen, Thiago. Bowen to Akatike, Enzo to Dango, Sar to... Yeah, I like that. Do all 3 and bench Timber, or do 2 and play one of the defenders. I think I'd do all of those 3 and bench and die, not Timber. And die versus Sar. I think I'd actually bench and die. Or Anderson. I'd probably bench Anderson. Sorry, you're selling Sar, so Yeah, bench and die. Bench and die then. Bellman says buy a snack for Teddy. Do you hear that, Ted? You're getting a snack, mate. Start Palmer or Timber. Starting Gabriel. I feel like you have to start Palmer if you've got him. Just because of the pens and everything. Fragshi says, would you take a -4 to go Enzo to Dango? I already have Wilson in midfield of Rice and Bruno and Rogers. Probably not for a -4 personally. I would consider it if it was like a combination move to fund something else, but I don't know if I would just do it in isolation for a hit. Right, we have to pause super chats because I need to make my transfer still and post it. CFC Ayamide says, hey Oscar, Mane to Thiago or Renzo to Lefay? Mane to Thiago all day. All day, that's way better. Pratic as well, thanks for 36 months. He says it's our 3 month, I think you mean 3-year anniversary. Thank you very much, Pratik. So let me make my transfer. Let me actually just double check as well. There's no news I might have missed. Just in case, let's have a look around what's going on. Don't think we'll get leaks or anything. But it's worth a look always, just in case there's any news or anything I missed. Nothing there. Nothing there. And nothing there. Right. Transfers. That didn't work. There we go. So Enzo to Dango. 0.9 mil on the bank. Enzo to Dango. Confirm. Screenshot that. Oh, Bruno vice captain. Let's stick a final captain poll up. So yeah, Wilson was the favoured budget mid, then Dango was, then it was Ryan, and then it was other. So we'll end that, and we'll finish up with a final captain poll for these last 7 minutes. So who is your captain? Haaland, Bruno Fernandes, Thiago, and other. I guess there'll be a fair few others, so if you are other, chuck it in the chat. Who's the other? Like Ekatike. Oh yeah, let me post a screenshot. Gameweek 29, Enzo. Benches in the right order. Boom. Good to go. And that is officially published. Game Week 29. It's Game Week 28. Ah, I've just posted it everywhere. Fuck me. It's Game Week 28. Why did I do that? Oh, I've posted it everywhere on the wrong game week. Why didn't no one say anything? I've not looked at chat. I'm guessing everyone probably said, you idiot, it's Game Week 28. Right. Game Week 28. Enzo to Dango. Good luck, everyone. Posted. I think I've deleted it everywhere. Right, let me go back to chat. Alright. We're good. Teddy's going crazy over here. Rookie mistake. Sorry, Teddy. Right. There's a couple more super chats. Kane Soren with no message. Did you mean to put something in that? Transfer out Gway for O'Reilly. No, don't sell Gway for a -4. Keep Gway. He's fine. I know O'Reilly's been great, but I would not take a -4 to sell him for anyone. Yusuf says Dango or Sharda, leaving price aside. I think it's so close. If they get equal minutes, Sharda's better. It's just whether there's that small chance that Lewis Potter comes off the bench for him. Probably doesn't start ahead of him, but there could be the early subs. It's really hard to say, but Dango in theory feels slightly safer for minutes. If nothing else, he wins on that metric, but Sharda's better for XGI. Nick says, great stream as always. Thank you, Oscar and Teddy. No problem. Thank you for tuning in. So that would be my answer on that. Lucas says, -4 for a defender or play Arsenal. Dallo back 3. Arsenal. No, I'd play the double Arsenal and Dallo. That's perfectly fine to me. Final look at the clean sheet odds, because Man United are joint top on that as well in terms of Dallo there. Mike Seals says, start Hill or Wilson. Got to go Wilson. You got to chase the upside. Jay Kibe says, you make us better managers. Or Kibe. I might have said your name wrong. Thank you very much. That's the goal. That is the goal. To make you better managers and to entertain and inform. Right, is that another super chat? Joel says, Enzo to Verts. Am I missing some here? This might have frozen. Enzo to Verts, Timber to Van Dijk, Chalobah to O'Reilly. I like all three, but I think keeping Timber's okay if you can just do Chalobah to Van Dijk. I wouldn't buy O'Reilly unless you definitely have 11 players in Gameweek 31. Yeah, alright Ted, chill out. You're scratching the carpet going mental here. You're going to get kicked out if you carry that on. That is not acceptable. Yeah, so I think all three are good moves, but if you can just do Chalobah to Van Dijk and keep Timber, I like that as well. Like Arsenal are literally top for projected clean sheets the next 4 game weeks. I've closed it. Never mind. I don't have that window open anymore. Sorry. You have to believe me. For the next 3 game weeks, sorry, not next 4. Yellow card for Teddy. You're on a warning there. Did you book Teddy? Oh, you know what? I can't believe I never thought of this. I've got to start using these in streams. And that's a red. I'm actually going to have to start using these as props in streams. Somehow. I'll think of a good way to use them. Right, sorry. 2 minutes till the deadline. Any last questions? Chuck them in the chat. Someone said my app's not working. I think it's just in Nigeria, the web host is blocked. Other than that, the app does work. So where are you from? There's a couple of African countries, but other than that, the app absolutely does work. I've got it open right now. It's working. If anyone's not got it, it's FPL Focal in the App Store. It is free, and it does all sorts of good stuff to help you do well at FPL. Ted with the 4-footed challenge. It does the bonus points, live rank checker, fixture ticker, clean sheet odds, captaincy, expected data, points changes. So it's FPL Focal in the App Store. And if you want to unlock the premium features like hiding the ads, you can customize the widget layout, the theme. You can read articles that are written by me every week, and it's only 77p a week as well. So there's a link below for that, or go to FPL Focal in the App Store. We've got a minute to go. It's been a cracking stream. Very, very fun stream. I've really enjoyed it. Chat, I don't know if chat's frozen or everyone's gone. I might be talking to myself now. Oh no, it did freeze. 77p is too much. Mate, what do you mean? Do you know how expensive it is to host this bloody website? I'm paying hundreds of quid a month just to host it. Plus I'm paying a developer to build it. We are here. Okay, you are here. Phew. I think if sometimes my chat freezes and I don't know how to fix it. It just happens sometimes, and then I refresh and then it's back. So that's the deadline. I did Enzo to Dango, and then I've rolled the second transfer. Crash another channel. Yeah, we can go and have a look who's live. Is there anyone that we could go raid? Some of them literally disappear on the dot. That is the issue. Like last week, we went into 2 streams and they both were just like gone on the dot. Could go to Gallagher. He's a good lad. Has he got it on subscribers only though? I don't think he does. Is he still alive?
Is Mane more likely to score against Villa.
Yeah, let's go over to FPL Gallagher. He is lovely. I've met him a few times, and he is so sound. The most down-to-earth guy you'll ever meet. And he makes good channel. And he's finished top 1.5k 3 times. So he's also very good at FPL. So let's go raid him. Spam Focal raid in his chat. Let's go crash his stream. I'll see you over at Steven's stream. Good luck as always, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you get a big green arrow. I'll be back on Sunday with more content, and Monday, and then we'll be back on Tuesday for another deadline stream. Thank you as always, guys. That is it from me. I wish you all the very best. Focal out.
De Bruyne's corner. Holland! Goal! It's Mo Salah.